We've all been there, at that point where it feels like everything is falling apart. The road ahead seems long, uncertain, and full of obstacles. The challenges pile up, and the setbacks feel insurmountable. In those moments, it's easy to think about quitting, to consider that maybe, just maybe, things aren't meant to work out. But I want to share something with you today that can completely change the way you view these difficult times. Whatever happens, it's for the good. We live in a world that values quick results, instant gratification, and the idea that if you're not winning, you're losing. But here's the truth. The most meaningful victories come after enduring the hardest struggles. Every setback, every failure, every moment of doubt is not a sign that you should quit. It's a sign that you're on the verge of something greater. The journey might be tough, and it may feel like you're being tested in ways you never imagined. But remember this. Everything you're going through is shaping you, preparing you for something better down the road. Think about any great success story, whether it's a person, a company, or a movement. Behind every success, there were countless moments of failure, of doubts, and of obstacles. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that one group never faced adversity. It's that they refused to give up when it felt like everything was falling apart. They kept going, knowing that every setback was a lesson, every challenge was an opportunity, and every failure was a stepping stone toward success. There's an incredible power in persistence. When you feel like giving up, when it seems easier to walk away, that's when the greatest growth happens. We often think that if things aren't going well, it means we're doing something wrong, but that's not always the case. Sometimes what feels like failure is simply part of the process. You may not see it now, but every difficulty, every detour, every failure is setting you up for something better, something greater than you ever imagined. It's important to recognize that we rarely see the big picture when we're in the middle of a struggle. When you're in the trenches, it's hard to understand how this moment is going to shape the person you become, or the success you'll eventually achieve. But if you never give up, if you keep pushing forward, you will eventually look back and realize that all those moments of hardship were the foundation for something incredible. Those challenges were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to prepare you for the greatness that lies ahead. And here's the most important part. When you're going through tough times, it's easy to get consumed by the negative, the self-doubt, the fear, the frustration. But here's the secret. It's all part of the process. The pain, the struggle, the moments when you feel like you can't go on, they're all teaching you something. They're shaping your character, your resilience, your patience. They're preparing you to handle success in a way that you wouldn't be able to if everything came easy. So, whatever happens, don't give up, keep going. Even when it seems impossible, even when the odds are against you, remember that everything is happening for a reason. The road is tough, yes, but it's leading you somewhere extraordinary. Every challenge you face is a chance to grow. Every failure is a lesson, and every obstacle is a sign that you're one step closer to achieving your goals. At the end of the day, the most powerful thing you can do is to keep moving forward. When you face difficulties, don't let them define you. Let them refine you. Don't let them break your spirit. Let them build your character, because no matter what happens, it's for the good. Trust that the struggles, the setbacks, and the failures are all part of a greater plan. And if you never give up, you'll see that everything you've gone through will have led you to exactly where you're meant to be. Challenges are part of the journey, and it's something we all must understand at some point. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what your ambitions are, you're bound to face challenges. It doesn't matter how much you plan, how much effort you put in, or how positive your outlook is, there will be moments of hardship. The question is not about avoiding these moments, but how you approach them when they arrive. Challenges are not signs that you're on the wrong path. Rather, they are part of the process that leads to personal growth and achievement. It's easy to believe that if you're struggling, it means you're failing. Society often tells us that success should be straightforward, that if you're working hard enough, everything will just fall into place. But real life doesn't work that way. Real growth comes from the moments where you face hardship and push through it, not from those rare moments where everything aligns perfectly. It's important to acknowledge that challenges don't just test our resolve, they shape us in ways we often don't understand at the time. When things aren't going well, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture and think that every setback is a personal failure. But the truth is, these moments of adversity are often exactly what you need to move forward. When you face a challenge, you're given the opportunity to assess where you are, what you need to improve, and how to become better. Challenges push you outside your comfort zone. Without them, you would stay stagnant, never evolving, never growing into the person you're meant to be. They're not to be feared. They're to be embraced because they hold the potential to transform your life. Persistence is often the deciding factor between those who succeed and those who don't. It's easy to give up when things seem too hard or when the obstacles appear too great. When you encounter failure or setbacks, the instinct is often to retreat, to cut your losses, and to move on to something else. But that's where true success comes from, in the willingness to keep going when everything inside you tells you to stop. Persistence isn't about ignoring the difficulties you face. It's about recognizing that no matter how tough the situation gets, quitting isn't an option. Every failure, every setback is just another piece of the puzzle. It's an opportunity to refine your approach, learn something new, and grow stronger in the process. When you face hardship, persistence allows you to stay focused on the long-term goal, even if the immediate results are discouraging. Every successful person you admire, every company you look up to, and every movement that has had a lasting impact didn't get there because they avoided challenges. They got there because they persisted through the hardest of times. They didn't give up when things went wrong. Instead, they kept going, learned from the failures, and found new ways to succeed. That's what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up before they even give themselves a chance. Failures are stepping stones. It's hard to accept failure when it happens, especially if you've poured time, energy, and heart into a goal. In the moment, it feels like a dead end, a clear sign that you weren't cut out for success. But in reality, every failure is a valuable lesson. Think about it for a moment. If you never failed, how would you learn what doesn't work? How would you refine your skills? How would you ever know that your approach needs to be adjusted? Failure is not the end of the road. It's merely the beginning of a new chapter. It's a chance to reassess, learn, and improve. Many of the greatest achievements in history were born out of repeated failure. People like Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein, and Steve Jobs didn't get their breakthroughs on the first try. They stumbled, they struggled, they experienced setbacks, but they didn't let failure define them. They used it as a tool. Each failure showed them something new, something that didn't work, something that needed to be fixed, or an opportunity they hadn't seen before. They learned from their mistakes and used that information to create something even greater. Failure, therefore, isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace because it's through our failures that we discover what we're truly capable of. Perspective is everything, and often, when we're in the middle of a struggle, it's hard to see the bigger picture. When you're deep in the trenches of a challenge, it feels like the world is closing in around you. The road ahead is foggy, and you can't see the next step. It's easy to think that all the effort you've put in has been wasted, or that things will never get better. This is the power of perspective. When you're caught in the moment, you're blinded by emotions, doubts, and uncertainties. But with time, you will often look back and realize that everything you went through was necessary to bring you to where you are today. The setbacks, the hardships, the mistakes, they were part of the process that shaped you into who you are now. When you can step back from your situation, you start to see things more clearly. You begin to understand why things happened the way they did, and why certain challenges were exactly what you needed. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we can't always comprehend in the moment, but in hindsight, we often realize that those difficult moments were essential to our growth. In fact, they were the stepping stones that led us to a better place. This is why it's so important to never give up. Even when you can't see the end, even when the road ahead looks impossible, trust that everything happening is part of a bigger plan that will eventually make sense. Every struggle will have its purpose, even if you don't understand it right now. Growth comes through struggle. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, but it's also one of the most powerful. We live in a world that values comfort and instant results. It's easy to think that success comes from taking the smooth, easy path. But real growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in moments of struggle, in times when you push through the discomfort, when you keep going even when you feel like you can't take another step. The tough times you face, the failures, the disappointments, the setbacks, are the moments that truly shape you. They help you build the mental and emotional strength to handle anything life throws at you. They teach you resilience, patience, and perseverance. When you're going through a difficult time, it's hard to see the purpose in it. You just want it to end, to get past it. But it's only by going through these challenges that you build the character needed to succeed in the long run. Without these struggles, you wouldn't develop the same strength, determination, and resilience that are required for true success. The hard times are the ones that prepare you for greater opportunities, and the more you embrace them, the more you'll be able to handle whatever life throws your way. Trusting the process is perhaps the most important thing you can do during tough times. When things aren't going as planned, it's easy to question everything. Am I on the right path? Should I be doing something else? These are the questions that plague us when we face setbacks. But the truth is, trusting the process means knowing that every moment, every experience is happening for a reason, even if we don't fully understand it at the time. Every challenge, every failure, every hardship is setting the stage for your eventual success. It's not always clear how things are going to unfold, but if you keep trusting the process, you'll start to see that everything is aligning in ways that you couldn't have predicted. The most important part of this trust is persistence. Keep going even when the road gets tough. Keep moving forward even when you feel like nothing is working out. Because every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. Life is not a straight line, and the process is not always clear. But if you trust it, you will eventually see how all the pieces fit together. Every challenge, every failure, every moment of doubt is part of a greater plan. You just have to keep going, keep trusting, and keep believing that whatever happens, it's for the good.